Hi students, today we are going to be covering lesson 2.3, partial quotients with base 10. Please take a minute to review the lesson 2.3 scale, write down your learning target, and write down where you are on this scale right now. By the end of the lesson, we would like you to be at a level 3. Let's take a look at some key vocabulary for division. Go ahead and pause the video and review some of the key words that you'll need to understand this lesson. Let's take a look at the first problem. And remember, we're always going to use cubes when we have a word problem. There are 156 campers at Camp Greystone in North Carolina. The camp has a total of 13 cabins. An equal number of girls can sleep in each cabin. How many girls sleep in each cabin? So we know that we have 156 campers. We have 13 cabins. We want to know how many girls sleep in each of these cabins. Each cabin, how many girls? So if we are having an equal number of girls in each of the cabins, we know that we're going to be performing a division problem. So we're going to have 156 divided by 13 equals what number? For today's lesson, we're going to be using base 10 blocks. So I will be using a large square to represent our 100 flat. I will be using a rectangular long to represent a 10 and one small cube to represent our 1. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to model the 156 using the base 10 blocks. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build using our 100 flat. Okay, so that's 100. Then we're going to say to ourselves, we know we have 56 left over because we have 156 campers. So we need to build with our base 10 models, our 50. So we have 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put 2 more over here because we need to build a rectangle. Okay, we need to basically build our area model. So this is equal to 10, this is equal to 10, 10, 10, and 10. So now we need to go ahead and add our 6 cubes. So in order to keep with making our rectangle to display our area model, we are going to have 6 cubes total. So these are all equal to 1. And if we were to add up all of our base 10 blocks, we would get a total of 156. Now we're going to find our partial quotients, and we're going to ask ourselves, how many times can 13 times what number is going to give us a total of 156? Well, we know that we have 10 here, okay, because we have a 100 flat, which is equal to the 10 longs, plus we have 2 more 10s here, which is equal to 2. So we're going to get a total of 12. So that means that we have 12 girls that can sleep in each one of the cabins. And the way that we can check our problem is we can say 13 times 12. And if we do 3 times 2, we get 6. 2 times 1, 2. 3 times 1, 3, and 1 times 1 is 1. And if we add these all up, we get a total of 156 campers. So once again, how many girls can sleep in each cabin? We know that our answer is 12. I'm going to go ahead and write girls because that's what we're asking for. We want to know how many girls are in each cabin. Next, go ahead and do a problem together. There are 192 students at CCA in 4th and 5th grades. The students are taking a field trip and need to be split up. We need to know that the students need to be split up into 16 equal groups for the buses. If an equal number of students ride each bus, how many students will ride on each bus? So we have the keywords equal groups. We have the words each. We know that they need to be split up. So we're going to have 192 students divided by 16 equals question mark. So what we're going to do is we're going to model our area model using base 10 blocks, and we're going to start with our 100. And we know that we need now 90. So remember, we're building a rectangle, so we need to keep that in mind. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 longs. Now we're going to go the other way so that we can keep this in a rectangular shape. And we're going to add 1, 2 more longs. And then we're going to build out the rest of our area model with the cubes, because we know that we needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 9 longs, but we need to keep it in a rectangular shape. So I'm going to break apart one of the 10s, and I'm going to add it to the 2 1s to put 12 cubes to keep this in a rectangle. 12 cubes. So now we have our dividend. Okay, that's this entire rectangle right here. This number right here, 192, is our dividend. Okay, and we are dividing the number of students, which is our dividend, by our divisor, which is the number 16. And we're going to find our partial quotients to solve this problem. So if we have a 100 flat here, we can say 16 times 10 would be 160. Okay, and 160 comes from our 100 flat plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 rods. And then we are going to have 16 times 2, 10 rods. And we get our 2 from our 2 10 rods here, because 16 times 2 is equal to 32. We got the 32 from our 2 longs and our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cubes. So if we add the 10 plus 2 together of our partial quotients, we get a total quotient, which is the answer to our division problem, of 12. And the way that we can check our work is we can ask ourselves, 12 times 16, does that equal 192? And yes, it does. Okay, so 192 students is what we started with. That's the total number of students. So if we're dividing them up into equal groups to ride the buses for the field trip, we will have 12 students on each bus. Now it's your turn to practice this problem and record in your math notebook. Go ahead and pause the video. And we're back. Okay, there are 132 goldfish in a pet store. The goldfish need to be split equally into 12 different tanks. If there is the same number of goldfish, okay, so they're equal groups in each of the tanks, how many goldfish are in each tank? Okay, so now let's see. We have 132 goldfish. 132 goldfish. That does look very nice. Let's go ahead and redo that. So we have 132 goldfish. We want to divide them into 12 different tanks. We want to know how many goldfish do we have in each tank. So we're going to use our base 10 models, and we know that we have 100, and we know we have 32. Now we need to use our base 10 models so that we keep this in a nice rectangle. So we're going to have 2 10 rods or 10 longs. And I'm going to put one this way so that we can build it with our cubes. Okay, so we're going to put one vertically and 2 cubes. And we know that we have our dividend, which is our number that we are dividing up, of 132. And then we have our divisor, which is the number that we are dividing. And we're going to find partial quotients to find the entire quotient, which is the answer to our division problem. So we are going to find two numbers when we add them together and multiply by 12 that we can arrive at 132. So if you notice here, we have our 100 flat, which is equal to 10 tens. And if you multiply 12 times 10, you get 120. And the 120 comes from this 100 plus 2 more tens. And then we are going to add it to our 110 over here. And if you have 12 times 1, you get 12, which is where the 1 long and 2 cubes come from. And if we add together 10 plus 1, which is our partial quotients, that's going to equal to 11. So you should have arrived at 11 goldfish. And remember, you can use multiplication to check your answer. So if you multiplied 11 times 12, you would arrive at 132. Go ahead and review the scale for at home. Decide where you are in your scale and record it in your notebook. We will see you next time in Duck Flicks. Have a great night.